All right, boys, real quick. I know we're just finishing up the weekend. Before we get into this video of our top 10 fighters on Dana White's Contender Series, I got to remind you, get your full send supplements. Go to supplements.co. Use your promo code OG15. We're going to get you the liver reset today because I know you guys go out on the weekends. You like to have a little fun. You like to partake in some activities. So take care of your liver. Take the liver reset. Go to Full Send Supplements, supplements.co. Use your promo code OG15. Get that liver reset in you. Take care of yourself, boys. All right, boys. Dana White's Contender Series Season 6 is finally coming to a close. Week 10 is coming up this Tuesday. So what we're going to do, we're going to recap the 10 best fighters to come out of Season 6. Now, I know there's a couple of obvious choices out there for who might be the best fighter to come out of Season 6, but I think our choice for number 1 on the list is going to surprise you guys. Coming in at number 10 on the list, number 10, starting it off, we're going to go with Claudio Ribeiro. Claudio Ribeiro. The guy reminds me so much of Michel Pereira. Just his style, his antics, the energy that the guy brings into the octagon. You're going to remember him from Contender Series. He won in about 16 seconds when his opponent tried to throw a spinning back fist and he landed an absolute hook from hell. We were sitting in the arena watching this live and the shot absolutely echoed throughout the arena. The guy has serious power. If you go back and you look at his record, he sits at 10-2. He actually weighed in for his middleweight fight at 181 pounds. So maybe somewhere down the line, he can drop to 170 pounds. We had asked him about it and he said, you know what, whatever we feel comfortable at the day of the weigh-in, that's what we're going to weigh in at. We're not too worried about, coming close to 185 pounds, but serious power in this guy's hands. If you go back and watch the footage, he just loves to throw bombs. He loves to stand and trade. He's a guy that's going to end up on your highlight reels no matter when he fights. Number 9 on our list of prospects for Dana White's Contender Series Season 6, ESTEBAN RIBOVICS, 155-pounder out of Argentina. They call him the Gringo. He sits at 11-0. He's only 26 years old. The guy has finished every fight he's ever been in. You might remember him from his main event against Thomas Paul. Thomas Paul was the deaf fighter that had come into the Contender Series that had made a lot of noise. And him and RIBOVICS decided to just throw down in one round. Their fight lasted one round. Obviously, RIBOVICS coming out on top. But his style reminds me very much of a guy like Ilia Topuria. Very crisp, very powerful, very accurate, and not afraid at all to stand and trade with his opponent and try and get him out of there as quickly as he can. Like I said, the guy is sitting at 11-0. He's only 26 years old, and he's finished every single fight he's ever been in. So 155 pounds, look out for the guy from Argentina. They call him the Gringo, ESTEBAN RIBOVICS. Number 8 on the list of top 10 prospects coming out of Season 6, Dana White's Contender Series, brought to you by the boys at Full Send MMA. We are going to go with a guy by the name of VINICIUS Fenomeno Salvador, 125-pounder, sitting at 14-4 currently. You might remember him from his fight against Shannon Ross this season on the Contender Series. Absolutely impressive performance. The guy reminded me, I hate to do this comparison, but the way that he strikes and the way that he rolled with his punches and he kept his hands down, very, very much Anderson Silva-like. I think there was even one point where he had backed himself up against the cage at one point. He encouraged Shannon Ross to come in after him. Vinicius Salvador, going to be a player at 125 pounds. He ended up winning in the second round by, I think it was a left hook knockout. He was actually the underdog that night, but by no means should he have been the underdog. Another guy that's just amazing to watch. Dynamite in his hands. Doesn't seem like one of those guys that's ever going to be in a boring fight. I love the charisma. I love the swagger. I love the attitude of this kid. Vinicius, phenomenal. Salvador coming in at number 8 on our list of Dana White's Contender Series prospects coming out of season 6. Number 7 on our list, we are going to go with a kid by the name of, and when I say kid, I say this because he's only 21 years old. Cam SAAIMAN out of South Africa. Originally coming from EFC, the fighting promotion down there in South Africa, fighting at 135 pounds. What can I say about this kid? Cam SAAIMAN went in there against one half of the Twin Dragon brothers, Josh Wong Kim. Very, very highly touted brothers, huge prospects coming in on the Contender Series. Cam SAAIMAN goes in there, 21 years old, finishes Josh Wong Kim in the 3rd round with a left hook. We had talked to him about it. He said, man, we have been working on this left hook all camp. I'd been visualizing it. He went in there. He got the job done. He got the contract at 21 years old. And what did he say in his post-fight interview after he'd just been in a hard 3-round fight with Josh Wong Kim? He goes, hey, if the PI is still open, I want to get in there. I want to get a workout done. So this kid is going to be game. He's fighting at 135 pounds. Like I said, EFC is a great promotion. It's brought guys by the likes of Dricus du Plessis into the UFC. So coming in at number 7, Cam SAAIMAN, look out for him. Number 6 on the list of top 10 fighters of season 6 on Dana White's Contender Series, we are going to go with one half of the highly touted Bash brothers, FARID BASHARAT, along with his brother Javid BASHARAT, a couple of 135 pounders. FARID being the second BASHARAT brother to now earn a contract into the UFC. FARID is sitting at 9-0. They call him ferocious FARID BASHARAT. What can I say about these brothers? Their wrestling is top notch. I mean, you got a guy like Jake Shields in your corner. Your brother is currently undefeated in the UFC. You're going in undefeated at 9-0. You're both fighting at 135 pounds, so we'll see how that works out in the future. But he obviously headlined one of the weeks in Dana White's Contender Series. I had talked to his brother Javid just recently after his fight as well, and he said, hey, you're going to have to come into the gym and watch us grapple to see who gets the better between the two of us. But FARID BASHARAT, I am very, very much looking forward to him at 135 pounds. One half of the Bash brothers, along with his brother Javid, like I said, trained by guys like Jake Shields, going to be a stud. So coming in at number 6 on the list, FARID BASHARAT. Number 5 on the list. Now, this one might be a little bit controversial just because there is so much hype behind him and a lot of talk behind him right now. Number 5 on our list of top 10 fighters in Dana White's Contender Series Season 6, we are going with Joe PYFER. Be Joe PYFER, the infamous line that Dana White said. Why is he sitting at number 5? It's just a very, very competitive list. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let the next 4 picks speak for themselves. But coming in at number 5, a very, very respectable number 5, Joe PYFER. And he is the first guy off of this season to already have a fight in the UFC. He's coming off of a knockout of Alan Amadovsky in the 1st round. So Joe PYFER is well on his way to being a face in the UFC at 185 pounds. Also, it helps a lot when you have the boss man behind you, right? Dana White's hyping this kid up. He's helping him out a little bit. Joe PYFER has a hell of a story. If you haven't heard about it, we do have an interview. We spent a whole day with him. Go check that out on the channel as well. But the kid is a stud. The kid has dynamite in his hands. He had actually injured his arm his first time around in the Contender Series. And they said that, you know, he might not ever be able to fight again after that injury. What does he do? He comes back after surgery and he knocks out his opponents with that same arm. So Joe PYFER, number 5 on our list. I really hope they slow play this kid. I don't want to see him get in there with like top 15 guys right away. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what this kid does in the UFC. And I think if they play it right, he can be a star. Number 4, we're getting into it. We're getting down to it now, right? Top 4, top 3. So there's actually 2. It's a set of brothers that we're going to put together because they had both fought and they both won on Contender Series. They both won on the same night this year. Coming in at number 4 on our top 10 prospects on Dana White's Contender Series Season 6, we have the Bonfim brothers. ISMAEL and Gabriel Bonfim, a couple of brothers coming out of LFA. ISMAEL being the 155-pounder and brother Gabriel being 170-pounder. ISMAEL got the unanimous decision on Contender Series, and brother Gabriel won by Von Flue choke that night. Studs. Couple of absolute studs. Just like I'd mentioned earlier, the Basharats, the Bash brothers. We also have the Bonfim brothers that are now coming out of the Contender Series, and I expect very, very big things out of these guys. Gabriel at 170 pounds, being 13-0, he might be the one to break through the quickest, but ISMAEL at 155 pounds, expect him to be a contender as well. And they're absolute characters. We did post-fight interviews with them, and they were just ripping each other the whole time, you know? So expect exciting fights out of the Bonfim brothers, and just look out for them. You know, follow them on Instagram because they're hilarious. You know, consistently roasting each other like brothers should do. And yes, coming in at number 4 on our list, top 10 fighters of Dana White's Contender Series Season 6, ISMAEL and Gabriel Bonfim, the Bonfim brothers. All right, we have reached our top three fighters to come out of Season 6, Dana White's Contender Series, brought to you by the boys here at Full Send MMA. Who do you think it is? Who do you think it is? Number 3, we are going to go with the 17-year-old RAUL Rosas Jr. Yes, the kid who actually had to get his parents to sign forms for him to be able to fight on Contender Series and fight in the UFC. 17 years old. The kid is absolutely groundbreaking. You know what I mean? For him to go out and not to get a developmental contract, to actually get a contract in the UFC at 17 years old is absolutely unheard of. And, you know, I'm not mad at it. You went in there and he was 17. He's fighting a 25-year-old with a lot of experience. He did not look out of place at all. People talk about, you know, grown man strength and how's he going to fare with these older guys. He was putting the pressure on his opponent the entire time. And, you know, he was pushing the pace. He was winning the grappling exchanges. He looked like the stronger man in there, which is mind-blowing to say for a 17-year-old kid to be looking like the stronger person than a 25-year-old. You know what I'm saying? He's currently sitting at 6-0. He won a unanimous decision on the Contender Series. We were all completely blown away. I think before the fight, he had a private Instagram account that had maybe 4,000 followers. I think he's over 100,000 followers now. The kid is going to take off. Like I said, he's another guy that you have to slow play because like he's only 17, you know, we're not going to see him in there with top 15 guys at 17 years old, but 1-2 fights a year, depending on how it goes with him, slow play him. But at 17, and I mean, even the hype that this kid's been getting around him, you've had the champ, Aljamain Sterling was saying like, man, if this kid, I'd be shocked if this kid wasn't champion by the age of 25. So number 3 on our list, top 10 fighters, Dana White's Contender Series Season 6, RAUL Rosas Jr. Number two. Now I might catch a little bit of heat from this. This might be a controversial pick to sit at number 2 because he is probably the most highly touted prospect in mixed martial arts right now. Coming in at number 2 on our list, top 10 fighters, Dana White's Contender Series, Season 6, brought to you by the boys here at Full Send MMA. We are going to go with Bo Nickal, number 2 on the list, 185 pounds, the American top team prospect. Didn't get a contract his first fight on Contender Series. A lot of people were shook by that, especially after RAUL Rosas Jr. got a contract at 17 years old after one fight. But he's going to be headlining this Tuesday, and I would be shocked for him not to come away with the W and a UFC contract. Bo Nickel, probably the most, if not the most highly touted prospect in MMA right now. 3-time NCAA champion, 2-0 MMA record, training with guys the likes of Jorge Masvidal. He's got a huge team behind him, an American Top Team. The guy already has over 200,000 followers on Instagram. He has an absolute army behind him, but we're going to sit him at number 2. We're going to sit him at number 2 just based on his experience in MMA, only being 2-0. So, number 2 on the list, Mr. Bo Nickel. Number 1 on the list. I don't know how many of you would have guessed this one, but you know, I wouldn't even have heard of this guy until last week when I saw him in person, and then I realized how much potential and how many people are supporting this kid. 22 years old. He goes by the nickname, I love this nickname, the Mountain Eagle, NURULLO ALIEY. Number 1 on our list, Dana White's Contender Series, top 10 fighters to come out of season 6. Why is this kid sitting at number 1 on our list, you ask? Like I said, 22 years old, 8-0, fighting out of Tajikistan. The kid literally has the entire country behind him. You're an undefeated record. You go in, you win first round by ground and pound TKO on your Dana White's Contender Series debut. And you go and you look at this kid's Instagram, 307,000 followers. He's only had 1 fight on the Contender Series. He averages about 40,000 likes on his posts on Instagram. Anything that this kid posts, Tajikistan is fully behind it. If he can string together 1 or 2 wins to start off his UFC career, which I have no doubt he will, he's already undefeated at 8-0. He's already got this much hype behind him. 300,000 followers, 40,000 likes, the entire country of Tajikistan behind him. Imagine what this kid's going to do in like a year's time. He got on the microphone with me. We did a backstage interview after his fight. He said, brother, 2 years time, I'm going to be the champ. He flashed the belt. He says, I'm going to have this belt in 2 years time. If this kid can do what he says he's going to do in 2 years time, he could be the biggest MMA fighter on the planet. Number 1 on our list, the Mountain Eagle, NURULLO ALIEY. You haven't seen him fight before. The kid's pace and his style, absolutely exhausting. Reminds me of Khabib, reminds me of Islam. Just wrestling. That's what he said to me. He said, brother, he says, all we have is mountains. He says, every day I'm wrestling. Exhausting, absolutely exhausting pace. 22 years old, 8-0, the Mountain Eagle, NURULLO ALIEY, coming in at number 1 on our list. Dana White's Contender Series, top 10 prospects to come out of season 6, brought to you by the boys here at Full Send MMA. All right, boys. So that's it. What did you think of our list? Comment down below. Throw us a like as well and a subscribe if you're not already following us. But let us know, what did you think of the list? Do you agree with it? Would you change some of the people on the list? Would you switch some spots? Would you add anyone to the list that we forgot? Let us know what you think of our top 10 fighters to come out of season 6 of the Contender Series. And like I said, smash that subscribe button. Throw us a like. Leave us a comment. Full Send MMA, baby. The newest, the freshest, the best new content out there. And yeah, boys, see you on Tuesday night.